All right, let me know if the music was good interlude and if you can hear my sound properly. Is it too loud? Is it too quiet? Let me know in the chat. We've got a few people here. Sorry that the first live stream was a failure. I don't know what's going on with that, but I'll have to for some work to do in that other streaming program. So we are on the awesome, good to hear. We are on the starting soon scene page. Let me now switch to the main scene, and this is not trading advice. In fact, this is a good time to slip in the disclaimer that says that there is considerable risk in all of this stuff. Most of everything here is hypothetical, and it's all future-facing content, and there's no guarantees you'll get any results. You can also find a link to the crypto market bull market watch spreadsheet down below in the description, and we'll be using that spreadsheet here today. You can access it and check on the updates on that anytime. We've also got a Discord channel. You can click on that link below in the description and come and join us to chat about cryptocurrencies all the time. We're looking at the big four here. I'm using XSplit. Yes, I am. And the chat isn't coming up there at all. So I'll change the scene, and then I'll change the size of my charts, and we're good to go here. I'll just use this one since the chat is not coming up on the stream. I'll have to recheck those settings on this one. What we're looking at here are the 4-hour bars for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Stellar. And all of these charts are absolutely fantastic. You could mark this as the beginning of the bull trend right now. If the bull trend happens, this is the formation that usually it starts out as. So we're having this major triangle in all four of these at the same time, which is just fantastic. When I change to this scene on the Bitcoin chart, we're looking at the 5-minute bars. We're bubbling up here with an ascending wedge triangle and a big surge, and now we've got a big bowl-shaped formation happening. It seems to me that the trickle of water breaking the dam has slowly started to cross now. And this is the only way the formation could be if it's going to be a bull market. So what I'm going to do, as usual here, is I'm going to update a spreadsheet of all of the currencies on Poloniex. And the reason I do this is that Poloniex is a good cross-section of all of the cryptocurrencies. And there's only 55 of them, so we can get through them pretty quickly. Let me clear off stuff here. So we're looking at the price of Ardor. And what we're doing overall in this project is to make a chart of where all these currencies are according to the simple trading plan. So the simple trading plan is a very basic trend reversal capture strategy, and you can get the free chapter by clicking on the link here and go and sign up. Get the free chapter and you'll know what I'm talking about for this simple trading plan. And we're checking all these markets against this criteria, and then the total of all those markets gets tallied up into this chart, and this will show us when the bull market is actually tipping over. We'll see all of the cryptos turning into buy signals all at the same time. So I'm grateful to have a few people here watching this. I think this is really amazing key times in cryptocurrencies to be charting all this. And I want to do these live streams so I keep up on this spreadsheet. Now, I had Yes to Crypto, one of the members in our Discord chat, gave me a hand with making conditional formatting on the spreadsheet, and he gave me some ideas about how to lay this out differently so that we can go through this part of the video making more quickly. Now, you can see that yesterday we had Ardor marked as an alert because it's a yellow in color, and it's still an alert. It has to break a little higher before it turns into a buy signal here, and then it'll turn green. So I'm going to put an A there for an alert. Then we're going to go into basic attention token, and we're going to take a look at this chart. I'm going to say this is neutral. It needs to make a more developed bottom and start to go the other direction and show me that the tide is lifting it as well. Rather than being so low here, it's just, I'm going to leave it as neutral. and move on to the next one, which is bank or network token. And I know these are out of order. I'll get it right one day. BNT. And if you have any specific markets you want me to look at while I'm going through this routine of everything on Poloniex, put it in the chat and I'll stop what I'm doing. I'll go over to Binance or what have you and take a look at that one. So this one's easy. It's neutral. Right? It's in between the 1, 2, 3 bottom. So I'll mark that as neutral and move on to the next one. BCH ABC. I'm starting to cover these things now. That's a near fail. If I zoom in a little bit, it still looks like a near fail. I wonder if I have a mute button on my keyboard I can use. Looks like a near fail. It could be picking up off this, but I'm going to leave it as a near fail in the spreadsheet. So I'm going to put in there NF, and it'll change the color of that. And I think Bitcoin is the same. This has got to turn around and give me a little bit of a different feel here. Otherwise, it stays as a near fail, which overall in our graph at the end is going to show us more negative. The more of the near fails and fails there are, there's more sell signals coming in. The more alerts and greens that we have, the better for pulls. BCN, Bitcoin, I think it'll do a pump one day, but not right away. Not today. And it'll just burst up one day. So sometimes it's good to have a few dollars in there, put the sell orders out, and then just ignore it. Then we can go on to BitShares. BitShares just did some nice moves. It's making a 1, 2, 3 bottom. It's breaking out from these formations. And we didn't have as an alert, but now I'm going to put it as an alert, and tomorrow it's probably going to be a buy signal because it'll cross above this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. We're looking at the 4-hour bars. If I zoom out to the 12-hour bars, there's our moving averages getting right close to crossing over. The 1, 2, 3 bottom formation is shaped up. It's coming right up to those levels. And then we would always have two different strategies for thinking about getting in. First of all, you don't put all your money on to begin with. You put on a little bit of your bet. You could buy on the breakout, or you could wait for it to come back and retest this level and then buy on strength from there. That way you know you're not getting tagged into a fake out breakout again. And then after it's proven you correct, you can add on more to the trade, and we talk more about that in our Discord chat. So BitShares now is an alert, and in the spreadsheet there we've got Bitcoin. So I'll go over to Bitfinex. I'm trying to say Bitfinex in my mind and Bitcoin with my mouth. So here's Bitfinex, and are we seeing a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation with the moving average crossover? We're seeing the 1, 2, 3, but we haven't seen the breakout above the number 2 point for this to actually be a buy signal in the simple trading plan. So we still have to wait for it to break out above these levels and see the moving averages cross over. Then that would be, other than that, Bitcoin is actually still neutral, and many of the cryptos are way ahead. And we've seen that. We'll talk about that in the second part of the video. I guess I have to refresh that. And we'll bring up some of the top performing alerts that we have in our alerts program. So here's Burst. It still needs to finish its 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So it'll stay as a neutral. Neutral on the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation on Burst. Now we'll go into Clam, and this one is really interesting because every time it came down to these levels, I was marking it on the chart saying that there's a sell signal right there, and it would bounce up, and then it's against this and against this again. As Bitcoin is showing strength, I think this is going to be giving us some new highs. If I go to the 1-day view, we can see where this is just laying underneath its previous support and resistance. And when it breaks those levels, it's going to move. It's going to be something significant when it breaks those levels. So it's just coming up to eat up underneath all that resistance right here. And so when it goes through that resistance, this is going to go somewhere absolutely crazy. And the great thing is, for people who are not in the US anyway, you can be lending Clamcoin, and the interest rates on Clamcoin are going to be crazy as well. I can't wait to be going over that. So what's it in our spreadsheet? It was an alert. It still stays an alert. And I'm excited about that one. And so Civic Coin is finally found a bottom, and it's made a number a little bit, but it's got to turn around a lot stronger before it can be anything more than a neutral. Other than that, it was a near fail recently. Dash, I think, is still a neutral, and we can see here that it is a potential trade if you are willing to get close to the market. It's coming down to the point of this long downtrend, 1, 2, 3 times off this bottom pretty much. But according to the simple trading plan, it's still neutral because the moving averages haven't come to cross over yet. So it's a higher risk trade. Decreed is a 1, 2, 3 bottom. The moving average is getting closer, but still neutral. It is not a buy signal there yet. Maybe tomorrow it'll be an alert. It'll come up close enough to these levels to say, be alert, it's going to be crossing soon. Then we're into a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation in Digibyte. And Digibyte in the longer term, I was much more excited about. So maybe this is going to be the turnaround I was wanting earlier, but it is shaping up. Still not good enough to be anything but neutral. It's just to be aware that it's coming. Dogecoin, I have this long-term view of this being like a big Alaskan dog sled kind of formation, that it's going to go orders of magnitude higher, so that Dogecoin will be sitting at 500 or 600 Satoshi by this time next year. It'll just be an enormous straight up leap as it goes too. Whoops. So this is my thinking for Doge, but right off the bat right now, it actually, as I zoom in to it on the dailies, it is, I'm going to put it as neutral. If it was still pushing against these levels, I would put it as negative, but it's giving a tick up while Bitcoin is showing strength, so I'm going to move that up to a neutral review, and we'll check that out in a couple days. That's going to be pretty cool. Waves is hopefully hitting a bottom here. Let's see some waves analysis. Let's jump over to Binance and scroll down to some of my favorites. Oh, waves. Waves isn't in my favorites. Waves. I've done quite a bit of analysis watching waves here. We did a trade on it. Actually, the only trade I did in the alerts program was a buy right there out of this consolidation, and then we got tagged out of our stop loss in here, and that was our trade. So we got some profit out of it. Then I couldn't find a place yet to get back into it for another trade. And when I zoom in on the 1 month view of what's going on here, it certainly is in a range. In the 1 week view, we can see some patterns of buying met by selling, and it's right on the edge. It's not where I could do a trade on it right now. In fact, if I was in a trade, I would have to get out because of rule number 1. It's not proving me correct. It has to prove me correct, or I don't want to hold it, which is the ideal way to trade. Because if I had been getting out of this, it didn't prove me correct, I got out, I'd have more Bitcoin to buy more of it that moment afterwards. And it's not the kind of trade that we're even searching for here with the simple trading plan. This wouldn't be in the mix at all, because we're looking for moments down here like this, and this was a hard one to get. It didn't give a nice 1, 2, 3 bottom formation with a good setup. That for me, this was the only place to get in after it showed the strength and then it consolidated. That was the only good place for me to get in on this trade. Now I have to wait for it to come back and give a consolidation and a turnaround, right? It was the consolidation and the turnaround here that gave me the entry. So there's so many other markets right now that I wouldn't be playing in, and I'm not playing in waves right now. I sold the waves that I have had. So waves, not yet, for me anyway. Back to Poloniex. I'm not sure where I left off. I was doing Doge vaguely in my memory, and EOS is what's next. So I'll slide that along. How's that working down there? You can see that? That's awesome. No problem, Mr. Babs. Where am I? EOS. So EOS gave us a 1, 2, 3 bottom over here. It's consolidating nicely. If it breaks above, it's a buy. If it breaks down, it's like sell what you've got if you have any. But right now, it's in between things again. So it's another market that's neutral. And what I want to see over the days is, especially when Bitcoin makes a big move, when all of the Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum, and Stellar, went down a bit. If they're all making a similar formation, I want to track this in the spreadsheet and then see what happens afterwards. It's really key to get it in there. Even if it's neutral and I go through this Ethereum Classic, we're getting close to some ways to buy into it, but the simple trading plan on the 3-month view needs this moving average to cross over more. So this one is still neutral and almost an alert. Ethereum. Hey, Mac Attack, good to have you back. Ethereum, 1, 2, 3 bottom, or a nice little bottom formation out here. We took a trade signal on, still holding that, even though it's come back this far. No worries, got the stop loss set down below these levels. As it's coming back here, now it's right on these great historical support and resistance levels. This is why I love it, because as we're zooming in on it, now we can see a larger, or a little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and a little bit of strength here. We're living on the edge on this. Could be a head and shoulders top formation too, because a little bit of breakdown here would leave it coming down quite a ways before it found some support. So we're really on thin ice right now with this trade, but having all 4 of them make the formation and showing a little bit of strength is actually quite bullish. So where does Ethereum fit in the simple trading plan? It's consolidating for an add-on position right now. And there's nothing to do in Ethereum. I'll move it up to a neutral. It was a near fail last time. Factum took off. Well, relative. It's making a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here. And even better, looking like a great formation. I was wanting to see a little bit more development of this. That helps it, because now it's breaking the downtrend line, so we get at least that rule in place. We are in the 1-hour bars. So if I go to, if I go to the 12-hour bars, there's nothing going on here for this simple trading plan. It's still neutral. Other trading plans could be jumping on that chart formation, because if you're looking at it in the 1-hour bars, it's great. It looks like a great consolidation and an ascending wedge triangle. It could be a place to be buying right now, but not for the simple trading plan. It's more conservative. It's waiting for a different change. Now we're looking at game credits, which we had called it as a buy signal yesterday because it broke above these levels here. And so I would keep this if I was to be trading this. My stop loss would be mentally down here somewhere, and I would be happy to be keeping this one, especially since it's showing a bit of strength off of this support and resistance level. If it broke down any more below this, then I would probably be getting out. So I'm going to leave that as green as a hold, and these are just hypothetical, just to give us an overall view of how bullish the markets are by looking at that chart at the end. This is a great ascending wedge triangle that has taken phases to go up on. I'm going to make this an alert. It's going to be taking off. GNT was an alert last time, and I believe it's an alert-er even today. It's even more an alert. It is awesome. That formation is taking a full month to build up, and now that 1, 2, 3 bottom formation at the end here, this accumulation and build up is really great. Hunter coin, it's really attractive. Hunter coin is coming down. It's not anything yet. It's got to build and give me a turnaround, and I don't know anything groundbreaking about Hunter Coin. Maybe you could tell me in the chat what Hunter Coin is and what it does and why it might be a technology people would be investing in when we have such a smorgasbord of other newer technologies. This is some of my newer thing to 123. It's not setting up yet, so this is close but still neutral. It's not near fail now anymore. Library credits, we can take a quick look at this one. I'm not expecting much, but it's laying sideways, and I'll call it neutral. It's not looking like a near fail. It's not looking like a sell right now. It's just hanging out in the middle. Loom is really building up nicely. I'm going to put an alert back on this one. You can see how from one day to the next here it was an alert, then it wasn't, it was pulled back. Now it's given a bit more strength, and again, and it's turning back into feeling like an alert. I like it. Lisk is a favorite of mine, and so it languishes sideways and down. And I have to leave it as neutral. It's not a near fail, it's not a near sell, but it's not building up to be going anywhere. We have to get some new decentralized apps built on their platform, and then the whole platform will take off. Litecoin is looking like an add-on right there, and I must boast a little bit that yesterday I sent out an email to everybody saying, look at this little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation on the 5-minute bars. I don't normally take these as very important, but this one turned out to be a 1, 2, 3 that's built up into a larger 1, 2, 3 that broke out right here, and now it's turning into a larger 1, 2, 3 and showing strength from here. The great thing about that little 1, 2, 3 is where it's placed inside this. If I zoom in to the 1 month view, we have a larger 1, 2, 3. So we had that tiny little 1, 2, 3 at the number 3 point of a larger 1, 2, 3. And if we zoom out to an even larger perspective, we can see how big this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation is. So that 5-minute bar, 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, was a key bouncing spot of the whole market right there at that moment. And now we're seeing the turnaround, and it's like catching a World Soccer goal as the only photo of it. So I'm pretty excited about that. We'll see how that turns out over time. Yes, Litecoin on the weekly looks amazing at the 200-week moving average. Litecoin is an add-on. Yep, Litecoin is taking off. And when we go to the big four and we're watching them all at the same time, this is where it gets to be really revealing. You can see the bottom formation in Litecoin where they broke out from an ascending wedge triangle down here, showed the strength, came back to retest it, and now it's showing strength off of that. That's huge in a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation hunter's dream. And here's another one where we had a capitulation low, then we had a bowl shaped formation in place of the number 3 point. Prices broke above there, and they are coming down to retest on those old support and resistance levels. Same as Litecoin. Bitcoin is making its 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Stellar is right at key levels. I'm wanting it to be heading up. And all four of these, showing these patterns at the same time, is really key. Once they start breaking out, we're going to have a tsunami in all of the cryptos. We're going to see all these cryptos doing what we saw them doing in March, April, and May of 2017. We're going to be seeing massive moves, and like we've been seeing here, where DLT, this trade alert captured 160% profit, 98% profit on Link so far. Rep is up 94%, 81% on BXQ, LRC, TRX, Power, Vibe, ADA, Steam. We caught a 27% rise on Steam. And all of these trades are out of basically the 1, 2, 3 bottom formations, the moving average crossovers. And it's a matter of watching for them and just being positioned for them. And this is what we're doing here with an average overall. I'm going to put this as an alert after all of that. And I'm going to continue on. This is supposed to be the quick part of the show. 1, 2, 3 here, that's at number 3 point at this formation. it's not it's not what we can do yet with the simple trading plan. It has to build this bottom and move high enough to have the moving averages cross over. Even though I am bullish on it on a different trading system, the simple trading plan can't buy it yet. Same with mana. It's looking great. It's building up, but this trading plan can't act on that signal. Lots of people say that we will never see the crazy 2007 theme pump. I agree, Kuri Kinte. We're going to see that 2019-20 is going to be orders of magnitude bigger. We're going to be getting institutional investors that never could invest in this stuff before. And there's a number of different platforms that are set up with institutional investors so that they can just click the buy button, and the platform itself buys the best price from all of the exchanges and then shows dude how much he bought from every different exchange and how much it saved him in money to have bought from all these different exchanges rather than the best price he could get from any one exchange. And this is a central cryptocurrency trader's desk. You can get it for $1,000, and it sets you up to do institutional sized trading on these exchanges. So we're going to see some enormous trades and moves that we just never saw before in cryptos in 2017. Remember that when Bitcoin was 25 cents, you could have bought 40 of them for $10. So $10 into each of these different cryptocurrencies for me is the wisest thing to be doing. And to not do that is to be missing out. And that's how you're going to get wrecked in cryptos, is by missing out. Anyway, Namecoin, 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, really shaping up. I'm on the 12-hour bars. The moving average has crossed over. So anytime this breaks a little bit higher, I'm going to make this an alert again. It was an alert yesterday. Namecoin. I can't believe Namecoin is still going higher. It's okay. Now it looks like it's topping. All right. So if I had any Namecoin, I'd be looking to redistribute it to something else that's making a bottom formation. This did really fantastic. And if maybe you can tell me I'm going to put this as a near fail, because pretty soon it's going to be a fail. It's going to be a sell signal. Maybe you can tell me in the chat, what is Namecoin and why is it a coin that people want to buy into instead of some of the newer technology out there? NXT making a bottom, building up a little bit, still neutral, not a fail. OMG was a near fail yesterday. Great to have a bunch of people signing in and catching on to the video here. Be sure to say hello in the chat. Let me know where in the world you are from. It is 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin are all on the edge of bursting higher. All of the altcoins are making bottom formations, and we're cataloging it all here. OMG is no longer a near fail, but it's not an alert yet. So it's still neutral. It's inside that 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Omni, I'm going to leave this as still a near fail. OMG is neutral. What did I do there? Won't take space. There we go. Pascal, we said, was a fail. Professor Wally, wow. You know what? I am streaming on a different platform, and it's probably not going to register to kick you up to Stream Boss. But you earn a special place. I will put you in the recognized top corner there, and you will keep it. I appreciate that. That's fantastic. Wow, I'm honored. Now, everybody better get $50 value out of this video. That's fantastic. I'm stunned. Boom ski. Yeah, indeed. Wow, that's awesome. Pascal coin is still a fail. In the 3-month view, it's still failing down. It's going to have to do a bunch more work now for us to do anything here. Fail. And let me put in the link to the Bull Market Watch spreadsheet in the chat. So you can click on that and join me in the spreadsheet so that when I'm doing updates that are not on the live stream, you can catch them. And you can also go to the other tabs. If you can see there, it shows the a tab with all sorts of links to cryptocurrency tools that you can use. Back to the 2019, and we're going on to the last 8 or 10 here. And then I want to go over some of the best trades that we've put out here. We've got DLT up 160%. I'm going to go to the before and after screenshots and talk about how we got into those alerts, how we got into those trades that did so well. Poly, let's take a look at it just because it's there and it's not, okay, can't do anything with it yet. PPC, that's a fail. Well, I also said last time that's in between things, and I'll leave it as neutral, just because it's not near the fail area. But I should have put that as a fail, because that is a sell. It's like sell your stuff and get out, and we have to be selling and buying, not just looking always for buying. Quantum, it was a buy earlier, and we're sort of holding it sideways, but it was also a near fail on this chart. It's pulled up from near fail to neutral. Oh, it's giving me that NF every time. So I'm going to have to get a different letter for that one. RADS is not even listed here anymore. REP, what a great trade this was from our entry way back here. And now it's absolutely blasted off. We would just keep moving our stop up afterwards. So REP, and we see in our chart here, it was, we can see here, an alert, and then it turned into the buys that we are tracking right now. SBD, I never know what to do with this market. It's gone higher. Well, Bitcoin's got higher. I don't know. I don't know what to do with this market. It goes up while Bitcoin's going down, down while Bitcoin's going down. Anyway, I am not trading it. And even though it made a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and I should just never mind and buy it on that formation breakout, I just look at that market and shake my head. So if somebody else is doing good on that, that's fantastic. Coin came down to new lows and was kicking people out of the trades here. Now it's made a new number 1 point, so it's not near anything. I'm going to leave it as a near fail. And then go on to SNT, which we had as a buy signal, and it remains green today as a hold. So it went above our 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, came back and retested these levels, and up we go again. Steam we saw as an alert, and then we saw it as the buy signal. It's still holding that buy, so I'd recommend, if you were lucky enough to get in on that you would have your stop loss above your entry point now to make sure that you're not taking any undue risks. Storage, there we go. Finally, there's my one of my little pet cryptos. I just want to rub its head, and it's making a great formation. It's a great business plan. They're going to make millions and billions of dollars, and we can join in them and make 10 times on your money or whatever. I think this is going to be going much higher. I'm going to make it as an alert now, because the simple trading plan is going to make us wait until the moving averages cross over and the bottom formation is broken out of. So we're not going to jump in on fake out breakouts. This would have saved us, well, yep. We're not going to jump on fake out breakouts. We'll put that as an alert. It's coming up. STR is still a near fail from this chart. So it's very close to breaking down to new levels. And that would be not good. Look at that. It's showing some additional weakness. I was expecting it to show strength with Bitcoin showing strength. Then we go on to Strat. This is showing a really good move here. So even our moving averages have crossed over. We have a new 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. This simple trading plan would be able to buy in on a break above this. And knowing that it's had such a long-term history, we'd want to start off with a small bit of our position, wait for it to come back and retest and add on to that position, and then be ready to sit and wait it out. So this one I'm going to put it as an alert just so that we keep an eye on that formation. Syscoin was a fail yesterday, but as we zoom in on it, we're on the 1-day bars. Let's go to the 12-hour bars. Now we can see that it's looking like an alert. It's come from failing down into the new levels here, that now it's turned around to reconsider me. I'm back into alert status just by the build of this triangle formation and the candle wicks upwards here. And in the 3-month view, the moving averages will cross over, so we could call this our 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. I guess we really have to wait for it to break higher. I'll put it as an alert right now. But I'm going to also move this down. And we'll see how that one goes. Viacoin. Hey, Purity Page, good to have you along. I had sent out an email about a live stream earlier, and it didn't work out. My technology is snafu'd. So then I had to start up with a different streaming platform and get her going again. It's quite a significant. This STR is holding at 3,000, 3,000 sats. And if we go back to Stellar, it's kind of freaky to me that it's right at these edges, because if you look all the way back through history, if it breaks down from these edges, there's a long ways down for this bungee cord jump to go before it gets down to any support. So it's kind of freaky right at that point. You know, it's either the very best moment to get into it or the very worst moment to get into it. We'll have to watch and see, but right on the knife edge right now for Stellar. And if we jump ahead a little bit and we go to Ripple, it's also pushed to a knife edge, and we had this big candle downwards when Poloniex had its trouble there, and it's still fading off. I don't know if, and it's not making a turnaround formation that's giving me any kind of bullish feelings here. They're both giving me the willies about being up this high and not having done a retracement in all this time. So kind of freaky. So if I go to Ripple, I'm going to put that as a watch for it to fail. I guess I have to put it as a near fail because it hasn't actually failed. Viacoin, let's get back into order here and get this spreadsheet done so that we can get the chart updated. This is an alert. We're getting a lot more numbers of alerts here going on here. This is an alert because it's coming up to 1, 2, 3, 4 times, pushing up on these levels. We could call this our 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3 bottom formation. VTC is breaking the downtrend, has a potential 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, but not enough yet to call it an alert. Counterparty is building up, but also not enough to call it an alert. It would have to be neutral, and Counterparty is neutral. XEM is a favorite of mine, and yet it is not given a turnaround strong enough to give us a signal yet. It's actually holding at this, inside this down parallel trend line still. So I'll give it actually I'm going to give it a near fail because it's almost breaking down to new lows from where it is right there. XMR, I was giving this a near fail because it's down on these edges so much. And in the longer term view, XMR is actually like an appendage down below the main parts of the market now. And if it bounces up and then breaks down lower, XMR is going down more. If it breaks above this and goes higher, that's really significant. So it's a key time, and it's sort of soft there. So I'm going to leave it as a near fail. Yeah, and tomorrow it could be neutral, but today it's near fail. If it gives any kind of strength at all, then I'll bump it up. Ripple, did I just do XPM first? XPM, I'm going to have to mark that as a near fail again. Yeah, that's near fail. And Zcash, near fail. Well, at least this one's neutral, as it was yesterday. Okay, near fail. Are you guys still seeing those? No. and neutral. Now, I should have changed that spreadsheet so that you could have watched as I was updating those. Now, the last step here for this part is to copy and paste the formula into place and to get the count updated. Okay. Copy. Paste. There we go. Loading. So we're down to 27 neutrals and 12 alerts. So if I drag that over, we can see that the yellows here on the chart have grown considerably. So yellow and green is good. Red and orange is not good. And the dark green is actually supposed to be gray. That's the neutral coins. That's the most number of coins. And so as we see the yellow and the green increase from day to day, we know that more and more coins are pushing over that bullish edge. And we know that we had a ton of them already do it. Here are 10 that have gone up more than 25% in each of them. And so for the second part of the video, I'm going to go over these. And so we're going to bring up DLT to start off with. Let's bring them up alphabetically. D. D. Okay, I got to go to Binance, of course. DLT. All right, so here's our entry on DLT. And where it is right now, we're up 178% gains. So here's the initial call on the trade. This is what we were looking at when we first put on the alert. All of this had happened. We'd seen this through October. We saw these big candles to the upside. Prices came down. They created a potential 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And so we were looking to capture things as they were turning around right here, as though this was the bottom. And as prices went along, we can see that they came up and they hit our entry point, and so we bought into it. Prices made a couple waves up and were looking great. Off they went. So, but it took all the way through December to wait for prices to come up off that bottom formation before it hit our entry signal, and now we're sitting up good. So we have a whole bunch more alerts that are in this formation here just before the buy. And that's where the key is right now, is to be finding these markets that are making the potential 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and getting positioned in them with a little bit. And then as it's proving you correct, to add on more to the trade so that you're bigger when you're winning. So that's our trade on DLT. Now let's go take our trade on Link and take a look at that one. Link is a market that I was brought to my awareness after it had started this move upwards. And it was doing great moves upwards while Bitcoin was going flat and everything else was undecided. This was just taking off and doing a great show. Then it made a top formation, and we were talking about it in our chat. It was at the same time that Bitcoin it started to drop. But this didn't drop nearly as much. As Bitcoin came down to its lows here, right on December the 17th, we see this from the 14th to the 17th in December. It made this bottom formation, 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Prices took off from there. At the same time, we had a trend consolidation pattern in Link that matched up with all sorts of historical patterns. And so we put on this trade alert right at this level, and that was it. We didn't do anything else. Now we're just holding and watching, waiting, and with a stop loss way back, not doing anything, just waiting to see what else is going on. Now, I do anticipate this is probably going to retrace a bit before it builds up on the next wave, but we'll have to see how that goes. Hey, greetings from Crypto City. I haven't been over there in a long time. There's a good community of people. I was hanging out there quite a bit. Rep is another one that was a really fantastic trade. If we scroll down to QRRP, Rep is up 98% gains right now, or thereabouts. And this was our entry signal as prices came down and they made this bottom formation. Finally, it came down to a number 1 point, the lowest point. Number 2 point, number 3 point, prices came up and broke above it, which is one of the buy signals. Prices came back and retested it. And then on strength is another buy signal. But we were waiting until we saw this ascending wedge triangle build up, where we saw all these wicks to the upside. The bottom was hard and growing all the time. And so we put in our signal. Prices got hit, and then wham, off it went. Just absolutely blast. And it's partly because we were watching the news about what was going on with the project for our Augur as well, where they have a new system set on top of theirs for speeding up everything. That it's got Vibe or something. I don't know. I signed up for it. Really great timing, great chart pattern, great news on January 15th. This was to launch, and sure enough, off it went. I believe this will go up very much more. Let's see, another one of our top trading alerts was BQX is up 81%. BQX. So our alert was quite a while ago, right in the same time frame where we see the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation setting up here. We got right down on top of it with our buy order. We thought, this is it. Everything else is going up and this one's waiting. So we got right on top. We got tagged in. Prices came up and pulled back. So depending on how you play your stop losses, you may or may not have stayed into this trade. But because of our stop loss being down at healthy levels and our position size being small to start off with, now we're into this for some profit for the very first wave of a long-term trade. Hopefully that it continues on for a long time. And we're looking for something of an order of magnitude up to old historical levels here. Then prices will come back as people are taking profit. Then we'll have a 1, 2, 3 formation that's building up on a consolidation area. Then we'll add on right in there. And as prices continue on the trend, now we're in a bigger position, playing with our profit money and keeping our risk minimal. And all of these trades over the next 12 to 18 months, we're looking for large moves up, add on the large move back, and then sit back and wait for the next 2 waves to occur and let the market do its thing. This is the long-term view. So another one that we did was LRC is up 57%. Let's go take a look at LRC. I haven't looked at this one yet. LRC. All right. Zoom into the 3-month view. You can see the pattern that we were looking at here. All the way through December, it's making this consolidation, a couple bumps to the upside. As it's consolidating, we put our buy order above it. And when it takes off, we're there for it. This is a lucky one, right? That's a good one that when it took off, it continued on higher. And we can put our stop loss up above our entry point right now. Done. No more risk in this trade. So many of the other coins that we were trading back in early December, they came down, made these potential bottoms. They did fake out breakouts and then pulled way back to hit stop losses. So this was a whole army of bad trade entries to be that close to the market. Trading on the 1-hour bars or the 4-hour bars, a lot of people got wrecked in this time zone. Now, if you were trading that same strategy and you just had your position small enough, you could have taken on a good position here now, put your stop loss above your entry point, sit back and wait. Now is the time to sit back and wait. After you're profitable, there's nothing to do but hold on to that trade. Wait for it to come up to old historical support and resistance levels. And when it comes back and consolidates, then there's the position to add on to that and do it with safety because you're doing it with profit money. So lots of these coins are going to be taking a long time to go through this move. This isn't just a quick stage that we're going through. This is a change of huge momentum. And I was saying earlier, we're going to have institutional investments coming in like we never had before. Hey, Khan, good to have you here. Crypto Soul. Kuti Kinte, Purity Page, M. Babs, and the star so far is Gunbot University Professor Wally and his $50 spot there. You know, there is a link below this video in the description that also has a coupon code that you can use if you'd like to buy the alert package that covers all of the markets on Binance. What we do in this show is, we can see down below here, we're going through all the markets on Poloniex, and we kind of, just roughly do them. But for the alerts package, if you were interested in something a little bit more detailed, we have all of the markets on Binance. We have their current value drawn in from an API. We have our entry level, our target profit, our stop loss, our risk to reward ratio, and we go through all of the trades on every single coin in Binance. So if you want to know what is an alert now, what is an alert later, what is a hold, what are we doing with these trades, the alerts program is great, and you can save 20% off of it by using Gunbot University's savings code. Back to the charts, because I don't think I'm finished yet. Yes. Okay, so we finished all of the Poloniex reviews, and then what I was doing is looking at some of these coins that were correct in our trade, and where did we get into them? How did we get into these to make a 52% profit off of TRX? I love going over these because it reinforces what I've been doing right. A lot of times there's mistakes in trading where there's losses, but when you make a correct mistake, you got to repeat it over and over. Correct mistake. When you make a correct trade, go over it, review it, look for other instances that are building up that look identical, and get ready for more success. So this was an entry out of this, it was a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and this is a common thing that I'm seeing more often in many of the charts right now, is that we're seeing ascending wedge triangles coming up to old number 2 points in the charts. And then we're blasting off from there. So as we're seeing this ascending wedge triangle breaking out to the number 2 point, get ready. Write it down at least, so at least you're paper trading it. Now this chart is not looking as healthy and happy to me, though. It's got a 1, 2, 3 top formation. We've got lower highs on the RSI. We've got lower on-balance volume for the second wave up. This actually looks like it's weakening off. And if I am to draw my sellout trend lines in this, it's right along here. The trend line when we're doing a downtrend is different how we use it. When we're using a trend line in an uptrending market, that's the exit point. When we're using the trend line in a downtrending market, that's the first warning. We have the beginning of the 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's our warning. Something's coming up. Then we'll have the movement coming up. Then we'll have the moving average crossover and the price move above. Those are more warmer signals that it's time to be buying. But in a sell signal, it works opposite. As things come up and they make the 1, 2, 3 top, that happens before the moving average crossover. And when that moving average crosses over, that's actually our exit signal. So this one's not in our chart down below, so I can't mark it as a near fail, but it is. SNT on Bittrex. SNT. Isn't that traded on more places? So SNT really, 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, took off, pulled back, right? This was a tough one to trade, actually, because of how far it pulled back into this depth. So depending on where you got into that trade and where your stop loss and the size of your trade, that was a tough one because of that wobble at the beginning. But then again, it's breaking out of a bigger 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here. So depending on how close you are to the market, what is this, 12-hour chart? So the moving average is crossed. That was a tough one to get into depending on how you handle that. So if I go to SNT and I go over to Bittrex, should be the same chart. Yeah, identical. So it's looking like it's going to be going much higher. We've got stronger on-balance volume here. We've got some great RSI showing strength. It looks like it's going to be taking off considerably higher. And it's done so in the past. So all of that stuff is possible. I love it. That's a great chart. So power. Let's finish up one more and then we'll call it a day. Unless you've got some other ones you want me to review. I want to just take a look at this one. I haven't looked at it myself to see power. Oh yeah, I did look at this one. Look at that. Great formation. Came down, made the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And it was making a bottom formation here. Then Bitcoin did a big drop. And look at how small power dropped compared to Bitcoin. Very much smaller. And this is a general observation for many of the cryptos. Look at this, how it came down along with Bitcoin. But as Bitcoin dropped here, it said, nah, I'll just hang out. And so it actually held its value a lot better than Bitcoin did. So now as Bitcoin has finally given up the ghost and changing this formation and making a could-be bullish movement, now all of the brakes are being taken off of these cryptos that were hammered down along with Bitcoin prices. Things are popping up like holding a cork underwater and you let go of it, poop, it's going to pop up. So as soon as that Bitcoin selling pressure is off of these cryptos, as soon as the... Oh, yeah. This is going to be a great time to have been in cryptos. KNC, Kyber Network Token. I think just because of it's a token of network and it is an exchange, it'll be something like BNB with Binance, that people are dissing it to begin with, but when it takes off, it's going to be doing great. So we're in the 1-day bars. We'll look at the 12-hour bars. 1, 2, 3 bottom laying along that. And so I've got an alert for a price above that level once it takes off. And it's showing that the momentum is changing, that the tide has changed directions. And it's hopefully not just another fake out breakout and then a pullback from these levels. And all of that is possible. We could still be in for another pullback and a whole new wave downward. There's still room for it. But this one's not it doesn't fit into the simple trading plan as a buy signal yet. Now, I get to go back and look at my markets I have the most interest in. All right, so Bitcoin's taking just a little bit of a dip back here. Let's go see our big four. Zoom into the 1-minute bar. Let's zoom in. Oh. Uh-oh. Look at Ethereum. Litecoin 2. Stellar was the first of them to start breaking. We were watching Stellar being soft earlier. Look at that. First of them to be breaking. Stellar. Tisk, tisk. They're still within good ranges, though. They're still not... But any kind of break from this kind of position here, any kind of strength, all of it is right on the edge of actually setting a direction. Freaky for bulls to have it brushed to these levels at all for any reason. And if we look at this trend line on the line upward, that would be our sell signal if we were... You know, this is still holding right on the edge of trend lines that are so key all the way along here. Nail biting. It's like World Cup soccer, watching the thing go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You just can't take your eyes off it because then somebody will do something that changes the direction. When I started this stream, it was looking like we were going to see something fantastic to the green side, and now as I'm ending this stream, we're on the red side here. I wonder if a 1, 2, 3 qualifier on such a short time frame. 1, 2, 3s work on any time frame. You'll find them on day charts. You'll find them everywhere. Anytime that there's a change in trend, you'll almost always see either a 1, 2, 3 bottom or a double bottom. You'll very seldom see a 3, 2, 1 bottom, but occasionally. So the 1, 2, 3 bottom is just, it's everywhere. It's always. It's a matter of having a plan to trade it, to put on your positions and take off your positions, and that risk control rule of when do you say I'm wrong. Assuming that you're wrong and let the market only tell you when you're right. Hey, IOC on Bittrex made a move from yesterday. IOC. Oh, it did too. And again, it's just a classic though. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3 bottom formation. Put out your fishing hooks and away you go. And now if you were to have gotten in anywhere in this range, I'd be watching for the closest opportunity now to be putting my stop loss above my entry and below the price. So that, that's a tough one to do. On this one, I would leave it down below these technical levels still. I'd still leave it down to the 3,700 levels and give the market room to swim around a bit. I'm assuming that I'm starting off with risking no more than 2 to 5% of my entire portfolio on any one trade, and that when I put on the trade, I only put on half of my money to begin with, and I put on the other half when I'm proven correct with a specific plan. So that way I am limiting my risk. I am exposing myself to a little bit of risk that I can profit from. And if I'm correct, I can add on to that so that I'm bigger when I'm right. And I start off with a small little, dip my toe in the water type of thing. If the water's cold, I don't want to go swimming. So it's the same thing with a trade. You start off with a small bit of it. If it doesn't prove you right, you don't want to buy more. But if it does prove you right, of course, you want to be correct when you're on the right time. You betcha. Let's load up. I will sign off with great gratitude for having you guys here. Thank you very much for spending your time with me. That's a little over an hour of this live stream. And I'm so happy to be charting out everything that's going on in this chart here so that we can really all see clearly when the tide is coming in and it's not just a fake out breakout. Maybe it could be a whole wave of fake out breakouts, but I want to see when we are breaking higher or if we should be liquidating and going to fiat currency, heaven forbid, or at least a stable coin. Thank you very much, Mr. Babs, M. Babs. Great to have you guys along. I really appreciate it. And again, click on the thumbs up button, subscribe, and click on the Discord link down below and come and join us for ongoing conversations about cryptocurrencies. Cheers. All the best in your trading. We'll check in again shortly.